Hey, thanks for coming back and joining me. Chasing your someday. Yeah. So this one's an interesting one that I wanted to talk about, and it's just losing your sense of self, right? When you're younger and before kids, there's this time where you're figuring out who you are, and I'd have to argue that we're always probably looking for our sense of self, right? It's always changing. We're always discovering. But when you have kids, your focus just moves away from you and what you like doing and your hobbies and what brings you joy and what brings you happiness to your kids, right? Your kids become the focal point of your life because there's just a lot to do. Like, let's face it, like kids are a lot of work. Anybody that tells you differently, they're lying to you. Is it worth all the hard work? Absolutely. Are there times when you question whether it is? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I can't imagine my life without our kids in it and the experiences that we share together. But that journey, part of that is losing a piece of who I was, of who I am, of my hobbies and joys coming first in life. They just don't anymore, right? My kids have sports. My kids have numerous things they need to do. My kids need attention. My kids want to spend time with me. We need and want to do things together as a family, right? Like, I think about how difficult that is sometimes. Is it fun? Yes. Do we do fun things? Yes. But then when you take a look back and you say, hey, I really would have liked to do this one thing for myself this weekend. And there was no time for that. Like, there was literally no time to do that thing. That wasn't a priority, right? The family was. That's hard. That's hard because I come from a place where I had so many things pre-kids, when I had a lot more time in my life for me that I loved doing. I DJ'd, loved DJing, right? I DJ'd in nightclubs. I then took that into a side hustle where I was DJing at weddings, creating. I became a wedding photographer, did a lot of photography. Creating was like a part of something that I loved doing, right? Going out, taking pictures, spending time editing those photos, just that time, when you think about all that time, like, right, that I could spend on music, I could spend on photos, creating, like, I don't have that luxury of having all that time anymore. And so that like took a back seat. And that's hard because that was a creative outlet that made me just feel better about life. I am trying to incorporate those things back into my life, thus this YouTube channel and taking this time to share, talk, discuss. I am trying to carve out those spaces. My kids are a little bit older now. It's becoming a little bit easier than when they were really young and needed a lot more. Now maybe there's stuff that they want to do on their own versus, back when they couldn't do anything on their own and it was all about us doing stuff with them. So times are changing a bit and I'm recognizing that and trying to figure out how I can incorporate the hobbies and joys of my life again, because I need those too, right? You think about how long you can go without doing those things and it starts to really suck your soul apart and you just become unhappy. And that's not good for anybody, right? Like you need to figure out how to live a really like well-rounded, fulfilled life. I think to be your happiest self, which makes everybody else happy then ultimately too. So yeah, but now as I come back to myself, I'm like, well, what is that, right? What is that? So, I love music, I love creating. How do I jump back into those things too? Like how do I go from being really rusty at doing those things and feeling old, right? Like, come on, like I'm starting to feel old. Like I don't feel old, but then I look around me and I'm like, well, I'm sort of old. And jumping back in those things and like that being cool, like DJing, right? So during the pandemic, I was DJing on Twitch. Like I started DJing on Twitch and it was really fun. But then I realized like, I don't know, Twitch is this place where like you have to be really like social and engaged in your DJ stream. Well, a lot of people are. And I'm there for the music, like really just want to be soaking in the music. So I realized like, hey, let me start a YouTube channel well, actually I already had a YouTube channel that was music based, but let me start recording just me like DJing. And I enjoy doing that, but you think it takes a while, right? So I've done a few, I like it and I'm going to keep up with it. But it's like, okay, well, like, do I resonate with people who want to listen to music? And I think too much about it, right? I'm putting too much pressure on myself. I need to just get out there. This goes back to my other video, right, where we talk about fear. Need to just get out there and do it. But when I do it, I feel good. I feel good on there. I'm DJing. I'm doing both things. I'm DJing, I'm listening to the music, I'm getting my set ready. What am I gonna play? I'm recording my set, I'm putting it together, I'm putting it on YouTube, I'm putting it out there for the world. Wow, it incorporates so many things that I love. I do it, I feel good. And so that is helping me rediscover my sense of self, like who I am. But it's just not, boy, I'm trying to find the right words to put around this. It's still not easy. It's still not easy coming back to that, right? Because there was this long, I don't want to call it a void, like a vacation where it wasn't like about like those things that I love, those things, they weren't like at the forefront. Like, yeah, during the pandemic, like I gotta say, like we had so much time on our hands, like I dove back into a few things, I hadn't done in a while, like DJing being one of them, but yeah, but now with like the hustle and bustle. Anyway, I'm getting carried away and rambling a bit. So let's take it back to where we came from, is that self that we lose when we have kids, when we need to put other people as a priority, and then trying to get back to those places. They're never going to be the same, probably. We're like, whatever, 11 years down the road now. My kids just turned 11 a few months ago. So like that Kristen that existed prior to having kids is a distant memory, right? She's there. She is a part of me. She is a part of who I am today, but I am never going to go back to being that specific person, right? Because so much has happened to me in between, so many things in life, whether it's, having a family, but just like 11 years of stuff, right? 11 years of stuff, 11 years of growth, 11 years of change. I'm not going to be that same person again. But this new person, again, it's not a new person, right? It's like a grown person. Like who is that person going to be? What do I want that person to be? And this is like the chasing your someday, right? Like someday I'm going to, I say to myself, get back to being more extroverted, right? Like I had this conversation with a friend, used to be a big extrovert. Like I was the person meeting new friends, connecting people out there. Yeah, like that was me. And then I don't know, through the years, something happened. I blame a lot of it on the pandemic too. And I just like sort of went into my little, like, I don't know, cave a little bit, like just sort of dug out my cave and went in there. And it's like, how do I get back to that person that I was? I'm never going to get back to that person that I was, but how can I take where I've grown, what I've experienced, and work on what I want to become, so my someday, and then I want to be more extroverted again. But it's going to be different, right? We're in a different place. What does that look like? How do I do that? What are some steps that I have to take to get there? I mean, one of them is making these videos. Let's face it. Like I've showed up now. And this is my third video. So continuing to do this, continuing to make it happen. This is me being extroverted because I'm talking to you out there in the world. I don't know who you are. Granted, nobody knows about this YouTube channel yet in my family or anybody else. So that makes it a bit easier, right? That's why I started this channel. But still, I'm showing up here. I'm having this conversation, talking to you about life. And I'm here. This to me is being extroverted because I made the effort to get here to make this video and to hit publish and send it on YouTube. But it's different, right? So, and I talked about this last time, like it's different. It's different now. This is different. This is a new experience for me. Anyway, what is it that you miss doing in your life? Something you want to do more of. And it doesn't even have to be something you miss doing. Finding some sense of self and purpose and being, like it could be new things, right? What is the new thing that you want to do? Like I've been thinking a lot lately about how it'd be cool to learn how to play golf. I've always talked about it. I don't know how to play golf at all. I've only played miniature golf, and many years ago probably hit some balls off like a driving range, but I don't know anything about golf. And it's something that I want to do. So and I think it would be like fun, right? It would give me a sense of purpose. It'd be something new, something learning. What is it you want to do? There must be something. There must be something that you would like to do that would give you a sense of self, a sense of purpose, a sense of growth, being, joy, happiness. What is it that you want to do? Write it down below. Stay accountable. Like, put it in the comments. What is it that you want to do? What is your someday? And then what steps can you take to make it happen? So here I am for the third video. And I said last video how I just tried to make it easy for myself. So that I couldn't make excuses. So that I couldn't have to be at perfection to make this video. And today I have set up just a little camera, a different camera. It's not my phone, but this tiny little camera. And I got this microphone again, right? And it sort of pains me having to see it here, but I guess it's what all the cool kids are doing. I see everybody's video. They've got like their microphone there. And yeah, and a little light, and I'm in my dining room. And yeah, I just tried to, again, make it easy for myself. Like, what can I do to press record and just start talking? Like, don't make it hard for myself. I know that's my deal. I know that I tend to make things hard for myself. So then it's hard to like get started, keep going, continue to do something. Yeah. So just making it easy, just making it easy for myself to hit record, to continue to make these videos, to meet my goal of documenting these conversations with you and recording these conversations about life over this next year. Again, that's the big thing, right? I turned 49. I'm going to be 50. Like, that's crazy. How am I going to be 50? And what are all the things I've learned to this point? Like those 50 years, there's a lot that happened in, 49. I'm not at 50 yet. Those 49 years, I mean, there's so much that's happened. There's so much I've learned. There's so much I've experienced. And like, a lot of it is just like in my head. Like, I just want to share it with the world. I want to help people. When I was younger, and we're going a little off base here, right? But maybe it ties back to sense of self. You know, I thought that I could do something great in this world. Like, I really got tuned into an area that didn't exist back then, right? And I was all caught up on emotion. Like, what is emotion? What are our emotions? Where do they come from? I remember going to the library and, like used to have like the card catalogs. Like, that's how you search for stuff. Like, this is before computers. Like, how do you find a book on a topic that you're interested in? Like, they had the Dewey Decimal System, the card catalogs. It was really hard to find books on topics. But I remember going to the library, the public library, and I wanted to find a book on emotions because I really wanted to learn about them. I came back empty-handed. How was I going to find a book in our public library on emotions? It was, at that time, I mean, I was probably, all right, I'm going to guess and say like I was 13 or 14, right? So it just wasn't easy. The books were probably out there, but they were hard to find. And my thought is I really want to understand myself, right? I want to understand why I feel certain ways, why I'm so passionate about this, like why I feel this way, why that way. Has anyone studied this? Like, I want to understand this. And I think it came from a place of wanting to help myself understand, but maybe help others understand. Just make more sense of the world. I always wanted to make more sense of the world. I was a pretty deep kid, like deeper than anybody else. I had a lot of stuff going on in my brain and I wanted to make sense of the world. So, I think to those times and wanting to just understand emotion, wanting to help myself, wanting to help people. And that really brings me to like these videos. It brings me to just finding purpose here. And I'm rambling again a little bit. So maybe this is time to actually end the video. But I do hope that in doing this, I can share my stories. I can share my experiences. I can share with you what I've learned. I can be a friend. I can be somebody that is here to just maybe give you some sort of encouragement that nobody has life figured out. things in life will happen. How do we approach them, experience them, learn from them, and carry onward, forward, and get to those some days, right? Those some days, a lot of the times are right now, but we're just moving so quickly and not diving into them. So I don't know. There's a lot here. There's a lot here to unpack. Not sure if this video was totally coherent, but I feel like with each of these videos, I am getting someplace like a little bit more tied together, a little bit more on the track of where I was gonna say where I want to be, but I don't have an exact plan here. I don't have an exact plan. I'm just gonna sort of see where this morphs, where this goes. And frankly, to tell you the truth, if anybody ever even watches these videos, you know, maybe 50 years from now, like what's YouTube going to be 50 years from now? I don't know. Maybe my kids will have these memories. Who knows? I don't know. But thank you for being here with me today. And I hope you pulled a nugget of something out of there somewhere. But do something for yourself. You know, try to do something for yourself. Figure out where and how you can, because I promise you, it will bring you joy and it'll be worth it. It'll be worth the effort that you put into it. And even if it's just like something for 10 minutes, right? If it's just like a meditation, I say that, I always mean to meditate and I never do. But I don't know, even if it's picking up a basketball and going outside and shooting a few hoops, you may find that's something you haven't done in years, but it may just be the thing that energizes you, that brings you joy. It makes you happier in that moment, in that day. So I encourage you to figure out what that is and do it. And I'll see you in the next video.